Hello, welcome to Ephemera Files by Tommy, and this is my flip through of my Raggedy Ann journal. This journal has a few extras that will come with it, including this little small vintage photo album that I've tied up with some ribbon and a little pair of scissors. And when you open it up, inside the photo album, I have added some washi tape to close the bottoms of the pockets, and then I put inside the pockets bits and pieces of things that I have used inside the journal that can be used to make more ephemera if one wishes. And it can still be used as a photo album after you take those out if that's what you want. Also included is this Raggedy Ann doll. And I think that she might be handmade because I have not found a tag anywhere. Her dress appears to be handmade, hand stitched for the little snap here, and her hair looks to be put in by hand. And so she will go along with the journal. See, can I put her right there so she can watch over us? Yeah, she works right there. This case was made from, I think, 2 placemats that were sewn together to be a pillowcase. And I have added a large doily and then 2 smaller doilies and an old button to the front of that. And then inside the case is the journal. And here's the journal. It has 3 signatures. It measures 8.5 inches tall and about 6 inches wide and approximately 2 inches thick. And it closes down pretty well. I mean, I have it tied with some ironed seam binding into a bow. It's wrapped around a few times, and it doesn't seem to be gator mouthing much at all when it's tied, which is a good sign. On the front, I have some eyelet lace and a doily, and then this wooden heart button that I've tied, sewn on with embroidery floss. This is a vintage old quilt. It's from this piece here in the background, and I have some vintage rickrack all around the cover, all the way around it. Here I have a tassel of buttons and beads, and including some little millefiori beads. I think that's how you say it, millefiori glass beads that look like little flowers, and I thought that those went very well with the look of the journal. It is 3 signatures. It is bound in with a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. Lots and lots of eyelet is used. I think I used just a tiny little bit of lace and some other things. I have left, I'm going to say 98% of the sewing threads. There's a lot of stitching in here, and so I left a lot of the threads because I just thought that really went well with the whole Raggedy Ann theme. All right, so let's open it up. Inside, I have wrapped the rickrack around, placed buttons at the corners and added just a little bit of book page circles to the center of the buttons. I used 2 different Raggedy Ann books to do some fussy cuts and add some of the decorations. And in this first pocket, I have a card catalog card that has an R on it for Raggedy Ann. Here I have some eyelet, and this is an old bed sheet that is inside the spine. The card catalog card I have pounced with some inks, and I cut out, if I can get a hold of these ribbons, the author's signature, and the name of the book is from one of the books, Raggedy Ann. And I have just a little piece of this is fabric paper. I think that's fabric that has been glued to the paper. I don't know, it's from a paper pad that I had. And then I just added that little ribbon and lace bow. I think I'm going to have to make my pile over here because Han is over there. Here I have an eyelet pocket that is made to look like her apron. This is an illustration from one of the books. I did a lot of fussy cutting for this one too. And in it I have a journal card. This is from Dear Julie Julie. And each of the signature covers is made of cardstock, and it has eyelet lace that is sewn around. I also did some stamping on a lot of the pages. Let's see, this is a digital, and this is this writing card. These are punched from one of the books, and it's lined with writing paper. I've used 3 or 4 different writing tablets for the papers throughout. Here's another pocket that is made from one of the books, and I've got a bit of the story of Raggedy Ann throughout the book. And this is talking about where they found Raggedy Ann in the attic, and Grandma said, "I haven't seen her for 50 years. So I thought that that was cute. And this made a little belly band that holds these 2 altered playing cards. And these are also from the books. And this is from a Dear Julie Julie digital. Here I have a belly band with a pocket. And inside the pocket is this tag, a little bit of trim scrap. And then in the back is another journaling card that I have stitched around the quilted star. And this is some of my polka dot tea-dyed paper. Here I have a flip out that's been trimmed with some trim. And I've got some beads that are hanging from the side. This is a pamphlet stitch because this is a mini booklet that's attached inside, or a mini signature. With some more eyelet, some writing paper, some scrapbook paper, and a little thin pocket here that has one of these Raggedy Ann playing cards. There are several of these. I think that there's 6 total that are scattered throughout this book, and a couple in the mini journal. Here is a journaling card that I have stamped and folded and inked. And then on the back side of that, I have another pocket with some trim, another fussy cut from one of the books, and some fabric ribbon, fabric tape. And that is again backed with writing paper. More stamping. On some of the pages I reinforced the edge with some decorative papers just to make sure that it had its strength and stability. Here I have a pocket, and these 2 pieces are digitals, and then this is a piece of fabric. I have a button down here with some messy thread behind it, and some eyelet lace down here at the bottom. This journaling card is from one of the books. This is some graph paper and some more writing paper. Here I have an altered envelope, and on this side it's pretty plain, but I did that on purpose because it was going to be really busy. Not like I don't like busy, but you know. And I have loosened the flap so that it opens up, and I chose this picture for a particular reason, because when I opened it up I discovered I put this in upside down. There was a picture of Raggedy Ann hanging from the clothesline, and she's hanging upside down obviously, so I thought that that kind of helped cover up that mistake. And I have a little bow that I made out of fabric tape, and then inside here I have a couple of pockets, another of the mini Raggedy Ann cards, and a tag that opens up for journaling space with a bit of vintage rickrack tied on. Here I have a pocket that is lined with eyelet. Probably won't keep repeating that one either because it's obvious that it's eyelet. Some of the eyelet that I've used in here is new, some is vintage, and I right now couldn't tell you which one's which. I have this journaling card. This is one of the images from the book. I have an altered tab. No, I have a tab made from an altered raffle ticket, and then it is backed with more of my polka dot tea-dyed paper. Here I have the other side of the altered envelope. It's actually two envelopes that are slid together. And I have some vintage ribbon here and some trim on the front. And another use of the raffle tickets to make a journaling card. This is from the digital. And then backed with wrapping paper. And on this side there's another pocket with another fussy cut from one of the books on a digital on book page, and then writing paper on the back with stamping and fabric tape. I had a lot of fun making this one. Here is another image cut from the books with more of the story telling about Raggedy Andy. And in this pocket I've got a little envelope. It has another of the Raggedy Ann cards inside, and a journaling card that is made from a playing card with dry decoupage napkin on it, and a tab made from this vintage quilt and a vintage button. Here I have a pocket that I made from a party treat bag, and I have just layered, let's see, this is a digital, a doily, a digital, fabric tape, and a button that I've sewn on, and then this is an image from the book. And then this journaling card is fabric tape and the digital, and then writing paper on the back. I have washi tape here on this music page that I've made into a pocket. Another of the digital quilt pages that I've sewn around. All of these I have sewn around. Another image from the book that I fussy cut. The big images, much easier to fussy cut than the little tiny ones. And I did a lot of fussy cutting. And that's the first signature. Second signature, I've got some ribbon down here with red and white hearts. This is an image from the book along with these two punches right here that I've put on red circles with an envelope flap here. This is one of Dear Julie Julie's digitals that's an envelope. And then inside I have a booklet that has a heart applique and a big red button sewn on. And on the inside, this is stamped and this is washi tape. And then this whole booklet is a Dear Julie Julie digital. And it's just a little counting booklet. And it's got pockets. I did not put anything into the pockets. I thought that was really, really cute. Look at all those threads. That's just so fun. And then this flap opens up as well. Here's another altered envelope, and I have a top tuck here with a journaling card backed with my tea-dyed polka dot paper. And inside, a journaling card has some washi tape and fabric tape decoration. Here I have a double tuck because this is an envelope. I loved the inside of the envelope flap, and I made 2 more journaling cards out of sheet music and a digital, some stamps. We got D is for drum, B is for bowl. And I thought that looked really, really cute with that background scrapbook paper. We turn the page, and here is a card. I've altered the front of it, and it tucks right into that envelope that created the flap on the other page, and that opens all the way up. Let's see. This is a handmade, a base for making handmade cards because it says handmade by and then a place to sign. I guess I should have signed it, huh? But I have a digital with some washi tape, a doily, and a little red bag back here that has some of my avocado dyed paper inside of it. And then this opens up, and it's just blank, and it slides right into the envelope. Here I have, this is a digital, and I had 2 copies of this same one, and I made a pocket by cutting out along the lines of the quilt pattern. And I like how this turned out. It looks like she's playing peekaboo. She's just hiding. This is another digital. Oh no, I don't remember where I got this one. If I remember, I will put it into the description box. And this is from the book, along with a bit of scrapbook paper and another punch out from the book, and it's backed on my avocado paper as well. That also has stitching in case you didn't see it, along with the messy thread up here. And these papers are tea-dyed papers as well. I don't think I said that. And here I've got more of the story. This is talking about how she got her candy heart that says "I love you" in blue letters. So that's what that is for. Just got a strip of red buttons right there, and then a pocket for the second half of the story. And this is where she is telling them the story, and it is stitched around. This is from the book onto a digital. I've got a piece of this quilt on here for a tab, and it's got writing paper on the back. Here's a pocket that I made from the quilt, backed with some computer printer paper that's meant for letters. And inside, I have these 2 cards. There's some eyelet right there. Again, this is from the kit, and it's backed on my tea-dyed paper. All of these cards are also backed on my tea-dyed paper. And then another journaling card that opens up. This is a misprint of the quilt pages. Let's see. This is that same. I don't think it's the same part of it, but it's from that same digital. And you can see I was running out of some ink. I think it was probably the magenta ink. But it just happened to go with that. So, happy accident, right? Here I've got another altered envelope. This is the center of the signature. And another journaling card made from an image from the book. This is where they're making taffy. And I've got the 2 different grid papers there. An image from the book and some washi and some scrapbook paper. Here I've got a fabric flip that I have sewn, and it's got the ABC paper and some blue gingham, and then I think 2 sheets of this, and this is from Hallmark Cards, and it's just some stationery. And at the top I have sewn a little blue button, and on the back side of the blue button is a little red button. Here I have another envelope from Dear Julie Julie. I printed it on the back, and then I also lined it with the second generation of a napkin just to soften it up. Also because I put glue on the wrong side, and so I had to cover up the glue. Here I have a journaling card. You just open it up, and there's some more writing paper. A little bit of stamping there. Here I have, it looks like a belly band, but it's actually a pocket because it's got glue down the back side. And a journaling card from scrapbook paper and a little bit of leftover digital, backed with some writing paper. This is an image. This is a digital. Here's the other side of that altered envelope. This is from one of the books, and I've just got them sitting on, it looks like a shelf, and it's a scrapbook paper piece. Journaling card here that is made from the digital and a digital, and then these little circles are from one of the books, and it's backed on a piece of that vintage rickrack. Opens up to be written on, and then tucks right back under there. Tea-dyed paper. I've got a collage here of some different pieces. And that's the second signature. More of the ribbon, and then here's the third. Again, I have just a little semi-collage of, let's see, a combination of scrapbook paper and digital to strengthen the edge of that page. This tab up here is actually part of the belly band here. This is from the quilt. I've stamped on it and I sewed some buttons onto it. The journaling card, this is from one of the books. And then this is a piece of the notebook paper that I've just cut down to fit better under that belly band. Here's more of my polka dot tea-dyed paper. I don't know if you can see the polka dots on that or not because they're very faint. Another image, let's see, this is a digital. This is from the book. It says a candy heart is very nice, but one can be just as nice and happy and full of sunshine without a candy heart. Very true. Another altered envelope, and inside I have a journaling card made from digital and writing paper. And then on this side I have another pocket with this little, it says ABC book. This is a digital. The whole thing's, this is a digital, this book back. This is a separate digital. This is the same, even smaller piece of a digital, just to cover up what was in the circles on the ABC, because I wanted it to be Raggedy Ann and Andy. And this is where the other piece of this journaling paper went to. And I've stitched all around that. Here I have another envelope flap, altered envelope type thing. This was a book page that I covered with one of the napkins and then made a pocket with the flap and then added washi tape and a bit of scrapbook paper. Another journaling card. I like how with this particular writing paper, this is manuscript paper for writing music, you can still see part of the image through the back of it. I think it looks neat. Another image from the book, one of the books. And again, another image from one of the books. I have tiny little brads on each corner of this particular page. And again, that is, I'll find that digital because I can't remember right off the bat what it's from. And I have another brad up here. It's larger and it's got a pink flower. And then this journaling paper that is on my avocado dyed paper. It's got a strip of a book page. And then these are from Dear Julie Julie Digitals with little stamping up there at the top. This folds out and there is a pocket inside that is trimmed with digital and scrapbook paper. And then another from the digitals that I stitched around the star and then stitched around the card. This opens up and I've got Raggedy Andy and Raggedy Ann. This little sign is from one of the books. These are from one of the books. Two different books, but I've got her holding that sign. And then that's a belly band. That paper clip wants to catch on the stitching. There we go. Again, this is stitched around, backed on tea-dyed paper. And we turn this page over, and I could have taken the paper clip off, I guess. It was just to hold this flap closed. And then this belly band has this journaling card that is backed on some tea-dyed paper and has a belly band on top of the belly of the card with a bookmark. And I thought that bookmark looked really cute, and it just kind of hides in there. Looks like it's part of the decoration of the card. I think it's cute. And here is some stamping and some of the scrapbook paper, obviously more scrapbook paper. Here I have a pocket that's made out of that computer paper, and I have a party bag inside of it that is perfectly colored. Inside the party bag I have, what do I have in here? Let's see, can't remember. Oh, extra pieces of the writing paper and a digital, and I think that's it on that. That's all I got to say about that. Put those back in there. And then I also have another journaling card. And then here I have a pocket with a journaling card where I disturbed the corners of a digital. Both of these are digitals from Dear Julie Julie, and I have a little collage here of fabric and ribbon and a little button backed on paper. And then this is a Dear Julie Julie digital, and it is an envelope with a list on it. I do not even have it glued shut, but I thought it looked really good against those stamped buttons. Here, this pocket is made from an envelope. I sliced the envelope across 3 times and then just decorated it. And then inside these pockets are these 3 tags that are decorated with washi tape and some Raggedy yarn. Here I have another pocket that's from an envelope flap that I have secured with a strip of scrapbook paper. This is from one of the books. I've sewn around it. I've got a bit of eyelet up there. And another page, this pocket is made by sewing one of the book images onto another of the misprinted quilt piece papers. And then I have, but you see how, this is a line from the book, you see how easy it is to pass over the little bumps of life if we are happy inside. And I don't remember what part of the story that went from, but it looked like she fell down and she's happy anyway. I've got vintage rickrack down here and on the journaling card that is backed with some more tea-dyed paper. This pocket is made from a piece of fabric that is like old Raggedy quilt fabric, printed. It's new fabric, and an image from one of the books. I've sewn on a couple of buttons, and I have a tab here that's made from this same fabric with a button sewn on. And then inside I have an altered bingo card. I've done some napkin applique let's see, dry decoupage, napkin applique, and a doily. Those 2 images cut from one of the books, and some writing paper on the back. And then another image from one of the books. And the last page. And then here's the inside of the back. And then there's the back of the journal. And I really, really like this. I thought it turned out really cute. And I hope you did too. If there's anything I showed you that was in this journal that you would be interested in knowing how to make, that you would like to have a tutorial on, let me know. And I will get right on that. So there we go. That's a pretty big haul, I think. So what was your favorite part? I think that my favorite part was actually the cover, because I've never used a quilt to make a cover, and I think that this turned out super, super cute. Thank you for joining me today, and as always, be kind. Bye.